Good morning, and welcome to the Informaticist. So this is a book review of the 5th edition of the Registered Health Information Administrator exam prep text. And I'll come out and say off the bat, if you are preparing for the RHIA exam, this is a book that you want to use. Not necessarily to learn new information, but rather to really know if you're ready for the exam. The questions are highly representative of the questions that are on the real exam. And I'll tell you, my score was within 3 percentage points. My real score was within 3 percentage points of my score on the practice exams in here by the time I had finished my reviews. So this book does its job well. This book will tell you how prepared you are, and it might be the best resource for doing that. Now, as a study guide, the book has some neat features, but some limitations. So you'll see that the book introduces just a list of questions, and it does do them in the form of 2 exams that are the same length, and then just a large question bank that is 460 questions. And so not exactly the length of the exam, but rather much longer. Unfortunately, there's no real difference between the 2. So the exam sections are in the order of domain. So it goes domain 1, domain 2, which is unrealistic. Also, the two exams are at the front of the book, which I thought was a little odd. Essentially, that's you taking the 2 practice exams and then going into the large question bank section. Now, the large question bank section is also ordered by domain, and so really is structurally no different, except each domain is much larger, meaning you spend a lot more time going through questions in that domain. I think it would have been better if they had just made the book 4 or 5 practice exams of the exam length, and maybe took a few of those and ordered them by domain, and then a few of those and had them in a random order that was more like the exam. And that way you would be consistently practicing for the length of your efforts, and you could have a few that let you focus on a topic in a domain, and then a few that really do model the exam as the exam is structured, or at least as the questions are ordered. Now, that said, each question is accompanied by a nice answer key. So they don't just give you the answer. They'll give you the letter answer and then a description that really contextualizes why this is the correct answer. So it gives you some context of the topic, and it says, this is really why this is correct. And that's great. But even better, they give you a reference. So they tell you their text that they used, and there's a bibliography. So they give you the author's name here, but if you look in the bibliography, you'll know exactly which text it's referring to. And then the page number. So you can actually read this, and if you're satisfied, be happy. But if not, you can then open to the book and read the full chapter or read whatever sections you want. That is brilliant and will allow you to really expand your studies from here. Where this falls apart, though, is that sometimes the reference choice is not the best. And I found that most of the sources that they used, I did not have. In fact, the only one of the sources that they used that I have is this Latour book, which is the 4th edition Health Information Management text. And all the others, I don't have. So these references are worthless. And I wasn't at a stage at the end of my program where I was going to buy another book on any of these basically core topics. And so I ended up kind of taking the keywords out of here and, using the internet or finding them in Latour. And since I also had a digital version as well as a textbook version, I could use the digital version and search the text, and that was very efficient. So I could find, okay, let's look at these terms and find where in Latour it gives a good discussion on it. So that disconnect is a problem of having this reference, but if your program has those references, you will be really empowered to focus your studies through the way that they've provided your book page number references in here. Now, there are a few errors. Some questions are given with incorrect answers, and then there's some I think they were typographical errors, where they actually would copy the above question's answer, the above answer to the following questions. That happens a few times, maybe 3 or 4, and there's not many, especially given the number of answers. It's almost, I guess about 800 questions are in here, and so, I can remember offhand 3 to 4 where they have copies, so you don't have the correct answer for the following question. And again, there's a few wrong ones, maybe 5 to 10 wrong ones in here. And that's okay. Most are pretty obvious. Some, if you don't know that topic well, you might not realize are wrong. The problem, of course, is that you might think that it's a wrong answer and it's actually correct and you're wrong. And so being unable to have complete trust in the answer key is a weakness for the text. And if you are not coming into this very confident or well-versed, you might suffer for that. But again, it's very few. I don't think I saw 20 incorrect answers or like typographical problems in here. So I wouldn't let that stop you from using this text. Now, one of the unique, or mostly unique, I'm sure there's other places where you can get this, but one of the great things for me on this text was that it really modeled how the RHIA exam will show you the ICD or the coding questions. So this page is nice because I can show you two examples. This is a CPT question and this is an ICD-10 PCS question. And you'll see that they really aren't asking you to have to do too much. So you'll know that in the RHIA, you won't be bringing in coding books. You're not expected to have mastered the system. And the way that this book shows you the questions and even explains the answers is really how you should be thinking for these questions. And frankly, the way that it answers a lot of these questions is how you should be thinking, the level that you should be thinking at for the questions on the RHIA exam. So I highly recommend this text. You will be well served, at the very least, to know where your strengths and weaknesses are and to know about how well you'll do on the exam by using this as preparation. It might not help you to learn new material, but it will definitely help you to know where you stand and know how much more work you should do, if any, before approaching the exam. I give this book a strong thumbs up. Now, the one caveat, the 5th edition of the Health Information Management text is now out, and it's very likely that the 6th edition of this text will come out in the not too distant future if it's not out already. So I bought this book a few months ago to prep for my test and was very well served. And I think if you can get your hands on this book, it'll be good. Oh, one last thing. So in that, you very well may find a used copy at a great price, and this book does include online assessments. Don't worry about that. The online assessments are actually the same questions that are in the book, and once I realized that, I in fact did not use them because I took this book as an opportunity to not be at my computer. So I actually did everything on paper with a notepad and self-scored, and it was great. The big benefit of the online assessments is that you then get programmatic scoring, and it will serve the questions in a random order, which does solve the problem of everything being listed in the order of domain. But if you happen to get a great price, you have a student who has one of these, like myself, you see, I'm done with mine. And I've used my code. I don't need it, and you don't need this either. So if you can get this really cheap, you probably don't need to upgrade to the 6th edition. You can go ahead, get this. Maybe you can get it $5-10 and enjoy your studies without the online information. You'll be fine. So Registered Health Information Administrator Exam Prep, get it and get confident. All right, this has been a review by the Informaticist, and have a good day. Bye.